Land Before Time, The Mark of the Long Neck, Chapter 5, Father and Sin. Littlefoot, Shorty, and I were looking up at a large long neck. Littlefoot's eyes widened and gasped. The long neck looked down at Littlefoot. It was Bone, Littlefoot's father. Why, hello, Littlefoot, Bone replied happily. Littlefoot stood in amazement to see his father again after years and years. Wow, you grew up, Littlefoot, Bone replied happily. Littlefoot walked up to Bone and began to cuddle him. Bone then cuddled him as well. Minutes later, Littlefoot was introducing Eli to Bone. Eli, this my father, Littlefoot replied happily. Did you just say father? He's your father, Eli gasped. Yay, I met him during the Great Longneck Migration, Littlefoot replied. Oh, I heard of that, Eli replied softly. Oh, Dad, this is my friend Eli, Littlefoot replied. Oh, she's your friend. When did you meet her, Bone replied. A long time ago. Even before I met you, Littlefoot replied. Well, she's a sweetheart. She kinda reminds me of a special friend I had when I was your age, Bone replied happily. Who, Littlefoot asked, confused. I don't remember, Bone replied. He's the long neck that helped lead us to your valley, Eli replied softly. Really? It's that true, Dad? Littlefoot asked. Yes, I was leading my herd towards your valley when I stumbled across her and her herd of long necks. I offered to help them when I mentioned you. They agreed, Bone replied. Wow, Dad, you're amazing, Littlefoot replied happily. Your father is wonderful, Eli replied softly. Hey, he's my dad, do you know, Shorty replied, annoyed. Oh, sorry, Shorty, Littlefoot replied. Hey, Littlefoot, why don't you lead me to your grandparents, Bone replied. Oh yay, they will be amazed to see you again. Littlefoot replied happily. Well, I see you two later, I guess. See ya, Shorty and Eli, Littlefoot replied happily. Yay, see ya, brother, Shorty replied sarcastically. By Littlefoot, Eli replied softly. By Eli, Littlefoot replied happily. Littlefoot and Eli looked at each other lovingly. Littlefoot and Bone were heading towards Littlefoot's grandparents.